All right, if you've been through the shift, you have probably met or talked to Dr. Jason Frye on a Zoom call. He's done everything you could possibly do when it comes to the 180 system and the MemberShift. When he was in high school, he was a patient of mine. Then he came back and did one of his rotations for PT school with me. Then years after that, didn't think that he was good enough at the 180 system, so he came back, re-enrolled in the MemberShift, went through the MemberShift, and now he's continuing to stay in the MemberShift. It's been how many years since you went through?
2. I've been into 2 years.
2 years. He's still on our Zoom calls. He's still in our Slack room. He still sends me questions, and he just came down from Wyoming to get a tune-up. So interesting thing, we were just talking about the 180 system and how easy it is. It streamlines everything. You get great results. And then you get that day where you knock them all out of the park and you feel like you got it made, you know you can do anything, and then what happens?
Patient X walks in.
Yep.
And they make you reevaluate everything you ever thought you knew. But you still use the system, you still use the principles, and it forces you to go back to the things that Rhett talks about in the videos. Can't tell you how many times I've gone back and watched the videos and noticed, oh, I forgot to check this. I go back and check at the next visit, and they're good. So going back to those videos has been crucial. Being in the Zoom calls has been really good. Even after 2 years of being in the shift, after knowing Rhett for 15 years and basically just doing his system for a long time. So can't tell you guys how good it is. I'm a slow learner, like I'll admit that. But this stuff is really good to stay plugged in, and I've seen the benefit in my business in getting results with patients.
So as you just mentioned, not only did he go through every level that you could be in with the 180 system, he got to the point where he thought, hey, I can do this on my own. I can do better than the clinic that I'm working at. He used to work at the biggest physician-owned clinic in Northern Colorado, finally got fed up with that situation and had the skills, the confidence in himself to go out and open a business with no business experience.
Nope.
And here he is almost 2 years later, crushing it, working when he wants, with you, who he wants, charging what he wants. And that has got to feel like a phenomenal feeling to go out and actually live your dream and do what you thought you were going to do when you went to PT school.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, if it weren't for Rhett's stuff and knowing him and doing this, clinically I wouldn't have the confidence to do it. And I've been able to learn a lot of good business lessons along the way. A lot of the Instagram people that want you to do business stuff, they focus more on sales. I haven't spent a dime on sales in 2 years, and I have a full patient list with a wait list. And it's because I'm getting people results with the stuff Rhett's been giving me. So yeah, happy about that, because I don't like any of the business stuff out there.
And that's why the business portion of the shift is coming up pretty soon. Hopefully in about a month, I'll be releasing the business coaching for those who are using the 180 system, how to do what Jason did, but streamline it and teach you all of the things that I did when I opened my clinic, my first of the 3, and all of the dumb things that I did, all the mix-ups and screw-ups and things that I kicked myself in the butt for. I'm gonna teach you how to avoid all that stuff. And do what Jason and I are doing, owning our own clinic. So that's coming up, so stay tuned for that. But take-home message here is, it doesn't matter how good you think you are, there will be one person that walks in that totally shoots your confidence down.
Yep.
And if you don't have a thought process, if you don't have a systematic approach, if you don't have science on your side, that's when you start to see those really hard patients stacking up, and they come in more often because you don't have a system to fall back on. So what Jason said was, I got really frustrated, patient X comes in, blows my whole thought process, but I stick with it. I come back, I use the same techniques, the thought process, science, and on the second visit, I figure it out, and then they get better. So it's not like these X patients start stacking up and then you feel like you're no good with anything. There's always something that you can grab onto and be like, oh, I saw them do this. I know that correlates with that. I know I can improve my work by doing this, and boom, you're back off and running, and everything is back to normal. And now your confidence begins to grow again, waiting for the next patient X to show up and start all over.
Yeah. And
all
you
right.
also don't have the patient telling you what to do because you've just tried to cover up their symptoms with all the other gadgets and garbage. So it puts you in the driver's seat, gives you the elite trainer or physical therapist vibe that you want, so that they trust you that you're going through a process, and you don't let them just bring in things that they think are good and that they could have found online anyway. So
Yep. And they came to you with some level of trust to begin with, because they probably found out about you because, just like Jason said, you're not marketing, you're not feeding physicians, you're not posting ads on Facebook to get people to come in cold turkey and then you're trying to explain what they're doing to them. They're already coming in, they're already warmed up by the patient that referred them. So if you're getting results like Jason was talking about, your marketing budget is zero, which my marketing budget has been zero for over 15 years. I don't pay for ads, I don't take people lunch, I don't do any of that crap. I get people better, they tell somebody else and they come in. That's your marketing. So if you haven't been in the shift, do what Jason did and get there, and you can be where he is now. If you've been in the shift, make sure you're continuing to watch your library videos, you're on the Zoom calls, you're in Slack, you're asking me questions, because that's how this whole conversation got started today. I was talking about how people fade out of the shift, and then 8 months later I get a DM, hey, I'm really frustrated, it's not working anymore. That's because you didn't stay with your community to help you problem solve and get through the sticking point. So I'm sure if Jason wasn't in the shift continuing with the work over the past 2 years, he would not be where he is.
Yep.
He would be falling back and maybe still working at the mill for all the physicians.
Yep.
So it's not easy, but the work is totally worth it.
100%.
All right, so hopefully you got some take-home messages, some things that you can move on with. The biggest being, you gotta have a thought process, you gotta have a system, you gotta have a support team to get where you wanna go and get out of the mess, or patient X is gonna keep on showing up and your confidence is gonna go down, you're gonna get burned out, and you're gonna be selling used cars.
Yeah.